And I think we are ready. So now we just need someone to actually unpause this. Let's go into the in-game view. Nobody's really unpausing it at the moment. There we go.
Yeah, okay. Should be in this game shortly.
So guys, this is the last game pretty much of the round robin. It was 8 teams fighting against each other over pretty much 3 days. This is the very last game, unless of course we have the tiebreakers as just mentioned. It's the ESCC LAN in China. It's a $40,000 tournament here on the line for tier 2 Chinese teams. You see some familiar names, mostly that's like the 2nd division or 3rd division of that organization, pretty much like Vici Gaming Potential or like Newbie Young. Either way, my name is Heflamoke. You are here on HeflaTV with GrandisV now replacing Michael Loris, who has been cast on the first 4 games today. So GrandisV, I hope we're gonna jump into this. You casted yesterday 4 of these games on HeflaTV too, so you have some idea about the Chinese meta, what's coming out right now. No Leshrac, no Undying, so that means we get Queen of Pain and Shadow Fiend and Earthshaker.
Yeah, for the most part, and Gyrocopter also going to be a pretty familiar face inside that first picking slot. Interestingly enough, we're going to see Naga Siren banned out in the first stage, which is going to leave the Tusk available for Terrorblade. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on the Naga Siren. From the games that I saw Terrorblade play, it was completely untouched.
Yep, so Tusk and Undying is like, that's what they mostly ban out when they have the chance, but this time they decide for the Clockwork because that's also what's coming out if it's not banned. It's the first 4-5 picks of the Chinese teams are relatively predictable. Spiritbreaker and Tusk, that means a lot of charges. I mean, there's a Snowball running your way, there's a Space Cow coming your way. That's quite a lot.
And now the Winter Wyvern going to follow up the Gyrocopter for Vici Gaming Potential. It's going to give them a large amount of AoE teamfight ability. Between the Winter's Curse, the Call Down, all of the damage that Gyrocopter is going to be throwing out there. It's nice defensively against the Tusk and Spiritbreaker, but not an end-all be-all. Both teams are going to be pretty happy with what they picked up first.
Yep. So Winter Wyvern is pretty much the destroyer of every good team fight. You think you have the upper hand, and then sometimes Winter Curse and Cold Embrace really destroy your mood and your day. Also, the good thing is we had like the Arctic Harass all the time in the laning. We saw that last game, or 2 games ago actually, where the Winter Wyvern was really doing a great job. It kind of depends what we see in the mid, because in the games today, we had often a matchup in the mid that was range versus melee, and every time we see that happen, the melee hero gets a bit support. Of course, less XP for that reason, but the harass is mostly coming out. At the moment, Storm Spirit getting banned out, as well as the Shadow Fiend, so those cores are out. The question is if they ban the Queen of Pain, because if we don't see a Queen of Pain ban, that's very likely to be a pick.
Yeah, and that is going to be banned out. A lot of mid laner hate in the second ban stage. In fact, 4 of these heroes are fairly likely to be played inside that role. Terrorblade are potentially on a little bit more of an aggressive route in this game. So let's see if they're going to follow that up with anything. The Lina as a support could have worked nicely for them.
Yep. So now actually that we have all the popular Chinese picks out, what are we seeing, like as in cores? Because now it gets interesting. Coddle PL was something we saw as center. Okay, that's the first time in, I think I casted now 15 games or 16, 17 games of this tournament, and there was not a single center warrunner yet, so this is a first for me.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see it picked up with the Tusk Spiritbreaker already on the table. Those heroes are generally thrown into the position 4 or into the offlane themselves, and honestly, I'm surprised to see Centaur here. It's going to give Terrorblade an incredibly tanky front line that they can just run at the enemy team with, and if they do get ahead, it can be very scary to play into, but that said, it's not without its weaknesses. Their lanes are going to be quite clunky with these 3 melee heroes.
Yep, so is this actually a core center? Do we actually see him safe laning? Because if the Tusk is in a support role, the Spiritbreaker in that typical roaming position, 4th position, what do we actually see in a very core role? One of these has to go in a core role, and then I think the best option is just the center warrunner, unless Terrorblade really surprises me with 2 crazy greedy picks. But for now, Vici Gaming, it's Vici Gaming's turn, and well, usually we see them always combining like a physical core with a magic core, but there's not much left. Queen of Pain is out, the Storm Spirit is out, the Lina is out. These were like 3 valid options, as well as the Leshrac. So you pretty much took everything away that could go in the mid. We have still a OD, which would be a very exotic draft, would also be a first. in this
But if
tournament,
there
at
ever
least.
was an OD pick, it probably would be this game. With so many melee heroes on the enemy team, it's going to be fairly easy to abuse, and none of these heroes necessarily want to be building BKB early on. Spearbreaker and Centaur might eventually get around to it, but I think OD would be reasonable, although probably not till later on in the draft. Instead, it's going to be a Night Stalker. They're going to invest in some aggression themselves.
Yep, but it took them quite some time to actually decide this, and now that their Tiny is actually coming out, does that mean we have an IO ban for Vici Gaming? It would be like the logical conclusion, I guess, like having that Tiny, like a double strength core supported by an IO, that of course might actually get you into trouble.
Honestly, I'm really kind of confused about Terrorblade's draft in general. They have a lot of lockdown control inside these fights, but they're going to rely very heavily on the Snowball and the Stampede to get themselves in a position until they can get themselves Blink Daggers. Their lanes are just looking so weak. One of these heroes, presumably the Tiny, is going to be going towards the mid lane with or without an IO, and this is something that VG Gaming potential could look to abuse. Another pick I'd love to see, although I'm not sure we are going to, would be a Timbersaw. These are 4 strength heroes, and you could get a lot of value from Whirling Death.
Yeah, there are 2 options, like for Terrorblade, I think. One would be the Techie Surprise, and the other one would be the IO, but I think IO is what Vici Gaming is definitely gonna ban out. And
yeah,
well, we're gonna get.
Now that you mention it, though, there's a lot of Techie's cheese available to Terrorblade between Tiny and Tusk.
We have Tusk, the Snowball Suicide. We have Tiny, the Toss into the Mines. Yeah, and all of them are also tanky enough to lure people in certain mine positions. It would actually be a very, very interesting thing to see. And now we get the Broodmother being banned out, so that's a pushing factor. Like, my areas are on a IO or a Techie's ban right now by Vici Gaming.
If I'm Vici, I'm going to be banning out the Techies. I think that's the scariest hero that would be picked up. IO is good and all, but Vici Gaming don't have any great heroes to demine. Winter Wyvern's the only one at the range to safely take out those mines, and you're going to be such a poor support. Just the psychological factor of having to go up against a Tusk Tiny Techies is ridiculous, and it's going to be taken away. And they pick up a Terrorblade.
And they
holy cow!
Oh my god! What is
this draft? I have no idea, but I love it. Let's see if they can pull this off. This is one of the weirdest and probably weakest laning drafts I've seen in a while, but if they can get through the laning stage, their heroes scale incredibly well, and their mid-game fight can be very scary if they get blinks.
Oh my god, I just don't see how they actually support this through, and the Terrorblade is gonna be just getting wrecked by Night Stalker, as well as Bloodseeker, as well as Gyrocopter. Like, he starts with such a low HP pool, he needs so many items to actually do something in this game, and now that we have an axe, the axe is gonna jump on him, and before he even can talk about like swapping HP pools, he's gonna just get dunked. So Vici Gaming, I think that is a very, very good draft.
For sure, just in general, their heroes can also be laned very greedily. This game, more than most, I think they could get away with throwing either the Axe or the Bloodseeker into the woods if they so wanted to, and I think that is going to be the course of action, and just free up a little bit more map space for Night Stalker to get experience. Yeah, as you said, this game is going to be very risky for Terrorblade. They have a very high-risk, high-reward draft in general. If they can pull it off, it can work amazingly for them, but it can also fail miserably, and I think it's probably going to do the latter, although one can hope.
Yeah, I mean, if they win this, at least they live up to their name. After all, their team is named Terrorblade, so apparently the Terrorblade is gonna be in a farming position. The Tiny is picking Boots of Speed, which means that looks like a roaming combination. The Tusk is on 2 shared tangos and a stout shield. I have no idea how they're gonna lane this. Tusk mid, Terrorblade safe lane with farming center, but he also has boots, so what is happening? Like, for me, big question mark. Anyway, we're gonna introduce them.
Tiny, they're going to toss the center in. I think that's actually what they're doing.
Yeah, center toss into snowball charge follow up, whatever. Anyway, let's really introduce them fast. We have the Axe here, all played by Yang. XXL takes the Gyrocopter, Lin on the Bloodseeker, James is the support Wyvern, and we have I forgot someone there. Yeah, Dogfights is on a Night Stalker. They don't find anything in the Radiant jungle, so that should give us some time to introduce that crazy lineup of Terrorblade.
Their namesake hero, Terrorblade's going to be played by Ty, and the rest of the heroes sitting on the top rune spot is going to be HM playing on the center. Unfortunately, I can't read Tiny's name, nor the Spearbreaker, but they're still there, and Yishu's going to be playing on the Tusk.
Absolutely, this is just nuts, and well, no action whatsoever is actually happening. We're gonna go to the runes. Tusk is gonna get the one, so yes, this is gonna be a mid Tusk. Bloodseeker is the other one who's gonna get it. Where is the Bloodseeker actually laning with a ready poor man's shield?
That is a jungle Bloodseeker, I want to say, and they also give him the bounty rune. It's going to accelerate his jungle farm quite nicely. And as I said earlier, I think they can get away with this. There's not much that Terrorblade can do to punish these lanes unless they get a lot of kills, which, to be fair, they can. They're starting things off with this tri-lane in mid, or at least tri-lane of sorts. They're going to look for a first blood attempt.
Wait, I have to tweet this out, this draft, on my Twitter. Like, Tiny Terrorblade, Tusk, Space Cow, Centaur, Big Kappa, Chinese, Dota. I have to. This is just, I have to share that with people. Jesus.
Already all eyes on the Centaur. Tiny, in the meantime, they have Toss ready and the stun. Bloodseeker, if he gets caught out here, I think he's just dead. They're going to charge in with the Spirit Breaker, toss in the Centaur, into the stomp, into the stun with the Ice Shards, block him off. That's going to be first blood drawn on the Ling. Nothing he can do. Nobody expects the 4-man mid at 0 minutes.
Oh, this was just amazing. On the other hand, the problem is with the Terrorblade here, he popped already Metamorphosis, and well, Winter Wyvern, I don't think you're gonna win really that harass match against him. Problem about Metamorphosis is that it's just a ridiculously long cooldown, more than 2 minutes, for a good reason, because it's goddamn strong, especially on the lower levels. In the mid, that first blood, yes, it's good still. The Bloodseeker will be just fine unless there are some other ganks incoming. The problem is they make this crazy roaming effort that top, for example, is completely ignored. Nobody's getting XP, nobody's getting CS there. The Tiny is coming in, just showing up, saying hello, but they know that already. Vici, they're so passive. At least it buys them some time for the Terrorblade.
Getting trained down towards bottom lane. The Axe and the Winter Wyvern need to be very careful, but lucky enough for them, they spotted out part of this rotation at the very least with a Dire Observer ward, so this shouldn't actually catch anybody off guard, even though there are 4 heroes inside the bottom lane. Tusk left alone is going to farm pretty evenly against the Bloodseeker, but really we just have to wait and see if this Tiny can get a good toss off. He's going to be posturing for it, but can't find an angle. If he can toss either one of them back, it's going to be a similar story to what we saw in mid, but now that the Wyvern drops the curse, Tiny has to pull out.
Yep, that's just no way against the Arctic. However, maybe there's some sort of clash around the rune. There is a charge on the Winter Wyvern. The Tiny actually might come in. He tosses the Centaur, and well, it's not enough damage right now. That's the biggest problem. No toss, no charge, no nothing's left. It's enough to probably drive him out of the lane, but there we go. There's a haste rune. With that haste rune, maybe they actually do something on that Bloodseeker. Just rinse and repeat. Problem is, of course, if you really play these roaming combos, you eat through clarities like nothing.
Absolutely, and they're completely conceding the top lane. Gyrocopter, as the Basilius turned on, is going to start chipping away at this tower and is going to get free farm while he's at it. It's just going to be a very precarious situation for Terrorblade, but that said, they're still getting farm on the Tusk and their TB in bottom lane, so there is a silver lining. They're going to start throwing a hero up towards top lane and get some much needed experience, and I think that should be why Spirit Breaker really needs access to his Bastion.
Absolutely. In the Axe, the problem is the Axe is totally fine with being against a Terrorblade here, as long as there are creeps around. He has enough region. He started with 8 tangos, so easy going for him. Like, the Terrorblade can't get close to him. Level 2 counter helix. Oh, there's the town. See, look at the damage right now. The center has to come in and help, but I think it's already too late. There, the right clicks. There is another town. Do they actually have a stun? No. Avalanche still not enough for level 2. The Tiny, so poor at this point. Now, finally, the Spirit Breaker goes in that top line, trying to grab something, because that Gyrocopter is absolutely free farming.
On paper, Terrorblade looks like he'd be pretty survivable against counter helix because he has so much base armor, but his HP pool is absolutely abysmal. Ty needs to invest into some gauntlets, into some bracers if he wants to stay comfortably in this bottom lane. In mid lane, there's going to be an Ice Shards block up, but Tusk is losing this man fight against the Bloodseeker. The Silent Circle's on the ground. It is going to proc right after the snowball is thrown. Now with the charge in, they'll look to turn around onto Lin. Lin trying to run away. The Orb of Venom slow just isn't enough. He'll salve up and walk back to his courier. He's just fine.
They just needed a 17% to kick in. Just one Creator Bastion, that would have been an easy kill. But yeah, it didn't really work out with itself. Whoa.
Spirit Breaker, that's a little ballsy.
That's not just a little ballsy, it's also out of range. Because you see the 2 supports that even dove through the tower just in hope to actually throw the Centaur on top of that Bloodseeker, but it didn't really work out. Now the Spirit Breaker, I think he's looking somewhere else. Now he's like, oh, hey, hello, there's someone. Oh. Hello, good sir. at the end, this is not gonna work out. He's just charging away, charging on. Yeah, the gyrocopter top just to grab some experience. Bottom, however, they want to dive the Terrorblade. It looked like it at least, but the Axe has to back off. Too many creeps already down.
With only 300 HP, however, Terrorblade needs to be so very careful inside this bottom lane. If they get any spell to connect onto him, avoid from the Night Stalker a call, that's a dead TV, and they're going to be bringing in said Night Stalker with no ward vision coming out from the TB side. This rotation is not spotted. The Centaur is going to try for a hoof stomp, but it's not going to connect. With the call, Yang's going to be able to spin that one down. Avalanche is going to connect over onto the same Axe, but healed up. He's going to survive even through the toss. That's a Terrorblade that they tossed in on solo HP. They'll get the spin, they'll get the void, they'll get the kill, and now they look for the Tiny trading fights with trading blows with dogfights. They'll punch him down. It's a 1-for-1 trade in the bottom lane.
Oh, Axe is back here with the salve. Like, that's also something very typical. In Western games, you see like 1-2 salves per game. Here, you pretty much have a salve on every player. But look at the Gyrocopter, super greedy at the moment on the Spirit Breaker. He has no mana whatsoever to actually charge out. The cooldown, however, misses completely. And that being said, he has to back off. That would be just too risky to stay under the tower. So Spirit Breaker, grabbing finally some XP. Still, like, if you look on the levels of those heroes at the moment, which I show as a chart, they're so goddamn low at the moment. This is 3v2 on those heroes, and these are pretty much like the enemy heroes. Yeah, experience-wise, this is just not working out with so much roaming.
And the farm too, take a look at the last hit chart. They're completely being eclipsed by the Axe Gyrocopter and Bloodseeker. Terrorblade are just falling super far behind. I usually don't look at the graphs this early on. Oh, hold that thought as there's a charge and a snowball going into the top lane. They're going to catch up the Gyrocopter with no call down. He is going to end up going down. A much needed pickoff for them, but even with that, it's still a very good early game
the
for each game
Terrorblade
potential.
They laid eyes on it, and all they need is the Axe to come in. There is the slow, there is, or even the illusions helping, and dunk in your face.
That's a level 4 Terrorblade. He just can't go anywhere on this map safely, or he'll just be run down by Vici Gaming's heroes.
The funny part is really like to this draft that I think the worst thing Terrorblade ever did was drafting Terrorblade.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
there really isn't much more to say. It's a very poor draft when it comes to this laning stage. If they can get Blink Daggers up for like the Tiny, the Centaur, Tusk, and get some farm up on the TV so he's not wet paper and he can actually survive on the map and be a split pushing presence, then it works out nicely for them. But this laning stage is just so rocky. Already a hard game to come back from. They just need to keep on going for these ganks. That's the only way that they can survive. They're pretty much like a shark. If they stop swimming, they die.
Absolutely. So 7 minutes into the game, they might actually lay eyes on that Gyrocopter here in the mid, but they're just not enough. And you see that VG is spread out from mid tower pretty much to the bottom lane at the moment in like this chain. The Tusk being silenced here at nighttime. There's the cooldown. He has to use that snowball, but he's still silenced. Now the Tiny is coming in to get at least that one revenge on that Night Stalker, but I think that's the end of the story. Tiny being dunked, the Axe being super fast. There is a buyback on the Tusk. They try to make something happen. There is a turnaround with the snowball. They're gonna get that kill on the Winter Wyvern, or do they? Well, not so sure about it. Bloodrite is gonna silence at least two, and now look at this. There's the second dunk, back to the fountain. The Winter Wyvern dies, but at what cost? There is no charge away. Actually, there is a charge away, but, well, why did he interrupt it? Did he cast it? I don't know. He wasn't taunted. But, yeah.
There is a lot of I don't knows this game. That's 2 buybacks coming out from Terrorblade as if their early game wasn't going poorly already. A dieback on the Tusk and the Tiny, only getting the Night Stalker and Winter Wyvern in trade. It's pretty much just throwing heads onto Vici Gaming's shopping block. Although the Spirit Breaker is getting a little bit of farm and levels, their heroes are just so bad from behind, in all honesty. So, I don't know. This game is still looking very grim, but they should be able to put up a good show. They're going to smoke up and continue with this gank train that they started from minute 0. The Spirit Breaker, the Tusk, and the Tiny are all going to go at it and look for a kill. Maybe on this Gyro, but it's a hard one with Wyvern behind him.
Yep. I mean, oh, there's a charge again on the Winter Wyvern Cold Embrace. Everything's ready, and there's also a cooldown which they have to use. At the moment, they don't focus on it because the Cold Embrace just helping him. Winter Wyvern is being down, but Rapture on the edge. Oh, he has no way. No TP, no nothing. Cooldown. He's sitting fully into it, so he's definitely going down. There's a ton on the Tusk and dunk in the face. If they saw the Tiny, they might actually follow him up. Yes, there is one more second, and he's getting thrown up on the other side into the center, just saying hello with the stun. Okay, that was actually nice coordination. While all this is happening, the Terrorblade is farming, which, yes, it's a good thing, but I think as soon as that Axe has a Blink Dagger, which he's not going for, by the way, because he went in Ring of Health to finish that Vanguard, But as soon as he has a Blink Dagger, that Terrorblade is nowhere safe on this planet.
Absolutely, and even without the Blink, Yang is still a menace. If there ever was a game to go Vanguard on Axe, this is probably it. Or at the very least Vanguard before Blink, I should say.
Oh,
it's going to... Oh, there's going to be a jump in. The Gyrocopter's holding braced up by the Winter Wyvern, but that's not going to save him from the Hoof Stomp and Double Edge. So they're going to focus on the Wyvern and the Gyrocopter at the same time. Can they get both of these kills? Gyrocopter will follow the Ice Shards, and 70% on the Winter Wyvern will secure her death. Terrorblade get a couple of much-needed kills.
Yeah, and the Axe actually found the Terrorblade. They swapped HP already. There's the dunk. He needs some more clicks, and there's the dunk, but the charge is already through. He is on 150 HP. Moo. There we go. In your face. Now just 17%. Come on. Well, the last one. That was the deadly one. Still, their main core is going down. I mean, the entire draft is just roundabout the fact that go create time and space for the Terrorblade, but if he dies, then of course that's pretty bad news. The Tusk is going for the Bloodseeker here, but I think this is a bad idea. Rupture, not enough mana though.
I'll remind you, this Terrorblade's only level 5. He didn't even have access to his ultimate.
Oh yeah. Oh, never mind. I actually thought he sundered him, but because the X was so low HP, I have no idea how he brought the X so low HP then.
Metamorphosis does do a fair amount of damage, but
So,
the
yeah.
Terrorblade is so squishy. It's really just not a good situation. Mid lane Wyvern is going to be the target of the snowball combination. Walrus Punch is going to do literally no damage as he was cold embrace beforehand. They'll toss in the Tusk and do nothing after the fact. Looking for the call is going to be cancelled by Avalanche as they chase for it for the poor Tiny, ripped apart by Axe. The charge forward by the Spirit Breaker is going to kill off James, or at the very least it should do. One auto attack's all he needs, and he'll find it, but potentially at the cost of his own life. He's voided up under the tower with not much hope. With Gyrocopter coming in from the left, the Spirit Breaker can't get off a charge, and his head is going to be rolling on the floor. It's going to be a 1-for-3 trade. Again, Vici getting potential or just fighting better.
How did the Terrorblade die?
That's a good question. He didn't get his level 6 beforehand. He was over in the sidelines, and I guess it was just AoE. I have no idea.
Okay, never mind that.
Centaur?
Yep.
Yeah. Gonna be chased out by the Night Stalker. The Axe is still there, but with TP support in, they're gonna fall back with the Avalanche and the toss back onto the center, into the Hoof Stomp, into the Double Edge. They'll get themselves a kill, and a whipped ultimate by the Axe is going to cost him that death. Ice Shard's unfortunately going to be in a bad spot. Won't be able to block off Yang, but another toss is going to be thrown forward into the Walrus Punch. But now the Tusk is in a really compromising position with the call down dropping down. It's going to be the end of Tusk's life at the very least, even though they don't have Culling Blade. But now the Spirit Breaker's coming in. This fight just never stops. In the meantime, Bloodseeker kills off the Terrorblade very easily. Shadow Amulet onto the Spirit Breaker is not going to be broken by the call, but it's broken instead by the toss in. Spirit Breaker still has the Shadow Amulet standing in Invis, looking for vision onto Yang. They're going to find him, and with the Nether Strike, they'll kill him off. My goodness. I have no idea what's going on. It's just clown shoes, this game.
I love this game, to be honest, and the Terrorblade died again. Top. Like, the funny part is, like, nobody's paying attention to the Terrorblade fight because, like, it's so busy with all the other stuff. So many bashes, stuns, tosses, whatnot. Like, the Terrorblade is trying to go out. He thinks there is some space created somewhere else on the map, but someone is always there and just punishes him for just being there. The Terrorblade, piss poor, I have to say. I think he's on a 2.4k net worth. The Winter Wyvern soon got him out farmed.
That's ridiculous. This is probably the saddest safe lane carry I've ever seen. Or if not, I've ever seen, very close to it. Tai needs another 20 minutes before he can really become relevant again. That's only if he's left alone. I don't think VG will.
Well, this is gonna be very interesting. In the end, maybe TP is gonna say like, you know what, Terrorblade, how about you buy wards and we just go for it up. Winter Wyvern top, Golden Breast is already up. There's actually a blood right, so making sure they do not run away. There is, oh, nice rupture, but it's in the shadow plate, so that's not gonna work. Terrorblade, he cannot Sunder. Sunder is already on cooldown. Tusk is trying to get out. Actually, nice ice shots, pushing everybody back here, but he's gonna lose his life. The dunk actually not being used. The Tiny trying to do something, but now he's slowed. He's slowed by the Night Stalker. There is, well, nice little Nether Strike. He could actually go into the Shadow Amulet again, and they do not have any vision, but now he's getting stunned. He still doesn't lose invisibility. That's the funny part about Shadow Amulet, but he's just charging out. Actually, it is on the Night Stalker, which is bad because there's the Avalanche stun. He's gonna get the kill, but there's the revenge right away. I love this game.
What an absolute mess. The 2-for-2 trade, or actually 3-for-3, excuse me, a bloodbath inside the top lane. I still think that favors VG since the Terrorblade died so early. He was snowballed in, and usually when you have a low HP Terrorblade and you're snowballing in, you can get off a really nice Sunder, but he didn't have it available. It's a fairly long cooldown, 2 minutes at level 1, so TP just needs to cool his jets and get into farming mode. He's level 7, 14 minutes in the game, only 200 more net worth than the Winter Wyvern. This is ridiculous. There's a Blink Dagger on the Centaur, so there is a silver lining to this Dark Cloud for Terrorblade.
I mean, he does half a level per minute. That's good. So he just needs 100 minutes game to reach 25. No, wait, 50 minutes game. Math is bad.
Oh, very well. It looks like they'll have to take that long if they really want to get this Terrorblade into a spot that'll be comfortable in. But we do have a little bit of breathing. Let's go take a look at the net worth graphs. They've kind of petered out at about 6,000, 7,000 advantage for the Vici Gaming side in net worth and experience both. But now into a smoke coming out from Terrorblade's side. This gank squad of the Centaur, Tusk, and Tiny has been relentless this game. Will they find anybody isolated? It looks like the answer is no. If they find anybody, it's going to be in a group.
Yeah, and they wrap around so deep. I mean, wow, they might as well just change the fountains, you know? Change their location, change their color, I don't know. And now, of course, they're in a kind of bad spot, but there is a charge. Actually, the Night Stalker being kind of out of position here, but I don't think Spirit Breaker...
The Tusk! He gets the Walrus Punch onto the Courier, but at the cost of his own life. That was cute, but back into the fight that you were talking about. There's going to be the Winter's Curse over onto the Spirit Breaker, trying to focus him down. Will they be able to get enough damage onto him? It looks like the answer is yes. Blink in, and the Coaling Blade will secure his demise, and now they chase forward for the Tiny.
Why is he going in that corner? Because now he's 100% corner. I mean, they would have gotten him either way, but at least he could have dragged them somewhere, I don't know, closer to the tier 2 tower. But there's no one who could punish them anyway. They lose 3 for the sake of a Courier. You don't need to be an expert to say this was not a worthy trade. I'm not even sure. Was there something on the Courier?
Let's go ahead and check. It was just sentries and wards. And to mention something, the Radiant team has not had a single obs or sentry this entire game. So,
wards are completely overrated.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have to also say for the people that wonder about this draft and everything, Terrorblade is a team that has nothing to lose, pretty much. It's the last game of the round robin, and they definitely have no chance to qualify into the playoffs, like alongside Newbie, Vici Gaming, Victory Lord, and a team I forgot the name about. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Charge in. Where's it going? Going straight for the axe. They're going to bump into the Bloodseeker, however, over in the sidelines, but Spirit Breaker cares not. He has a Shadow Blade. It's going to bump into Yang and then hit him. Actually trying to commit for this axe. A very tanky kill, but he does get 170%. Is that enough? He's going to be called back under the tower. The Night Stalker is there. The Tiny, however, trying to turn this one around. Call down on the ground. Is going to zone everybody out from Terrorblade, but it looks like that's going to be about all she wrote. Nobody actually dies.
Okay, that's interesting. What's also interesting is that the Terrorblade, even if he wanted to fight right now, Sunder is not ready. Now, actually, he has enough mana. He could also use a stick at the moment. I mean, he could use everything. Like, someone toss him a penny. Either way, we have an invisible Spirit Breaker going super aggressive alongside the tower, finds the Night Stalker, maybe even finds this Gyrocopter. Yes, he actually finds the Gyrocopter, but there's the charge through to the Night Stalker, and this is definitely a kill. Actually, the charge is getting misdirected on the Winter Wyvern. They don't even taste that, and there's the call on the Terrorblade, and guess what? He is dead. No news right there, and yeah, they have to run. There's the Shadow Blade, and the Rocket is telling the position. That's the biggest problem. Now there will be the Sentry Ward. There will be another dunk. So many dunks on the entire thing. Tiny is running in. He wanted to go to Winter Wyvern, but, well, Cold Embrace, another dunk. Jesus Christ. That avalanche.
My goodness. Yeah, that Tiny at the end was just kind of suicidal. All he wanted was the Winter Wyvern kill, and he just couldn't get it. Walking into 4 for that. It's a 4 for 1 trade after all is said and done. That first pickoff on the Night Stalker was pretty clean, but Terrorblade were so deep that they really just couldn't disengage at all.
It's like, I don't know. At the moment, it's hilarious. We're even at this point. I'm just wondering at what point Vici says like, "Yo guys, we got so much, we might as well just go for it." The funny part against this team is that with all these stuns and everything, they could still bring you in a position that's kind of awkward, where you suddenly lose heroes with a high value, and also the Sunder. I mean, the lower a Terrorblade is in levels and everything, the more the Sunder actually hurts. That's the funny part about it.
You don't pick this hero for Sunder. Honestly, I don't think you pick this hero at all, but if you do pick him, it's to be a split-pushing threat on the map, and Terrorblade is anything but at this point. He has a Bracer, Treads, Aquila. These are fine items to have maybe 8-10 minutes into the game, but right now it's just too late.
I mean, how much percentage is that actually? what minimum HP swap? I don't know if they changed anything around Terrorblade. I didn't read anything in the patch notes. So in theory, if you really just hit him and with his 700 HP right now, he got about 900 with the strength boot, and then he swaps you as a Bloodseeker who has like 1k. The Axe has 1.5. Well, the HP pool difference is not so big at the moment, but still, it's gonna be a surprise. You have no HP whatsoever. But let's see where this one is going. It's far from over. I think Terrorblade, they're committed to give us some nice crazy cow Dota.
Absolutely, but then again, now it's Vici Gaming's turn to take the aggression to Terrorblade. They're going to smoke up with absolutely everybody into the enemy side of the map, and it looks like they might catch out the Terrorblade and Tusk over on the side, or maybe it's them that are getting caught out. Spirit Breaker's charging over the top, going towards creeps. He's going to charge through a couple of invis targets, going for the gyro, but now he's isolated with a 5-man team, but he does buy himself enough space. My goodness, that smoke is going to be unsuccessful. A small win for Terrorblade.
Yeah, no problem. Sentry ward baited. Sentry ward baited, 100 gold right there just for the use of a Shadow Blade, so that's highly valued play by the Spirit Breaker, and he stays somewhere in the trees, ready to actually charge from behind, and everybody knows from behind it hurts the most. So let's see where this one is going, because I actually think they're willing to fight. Again, a 4-on-5 situation. There's the charge on the Gyrocopter, and he's going in, but just Shadow Blading out.
Well, Spirit Breaker does get a decent stun on the 3 heroes, but with no follow-up, it looks like that's going to be about it until Spirit Breaker has the Shadow Blade up and running again. There are some sentries up on the Winter Wyvern, but I think the bigger issue is that Glimmer Cape is going to be absolutely unmet by Terrorblade. Oh, initiation in, blink stun in, or blink away actually. My goodness, they're going to get the call onto HM, focusing him down. That's going to be the death of somebody, chopping off one of their heads and just ripping apart the other. Spirit Breaker charges in, but now with the Winter's Curse, he's going to end up going down just the same. 3 easy kills for Vici Gaming potential as Terrorblade just kind of throw themselves in.
Yeah, the X is like that guy you invite to your party where suddenly he enters the door and everybody just stops smiling and spills his alcohol on the floor, like typical party pooper. Like so many fancy plays by Terrorblade. In the end he said like, nah, enough is enough, and he just jumped on the 2 that make those fancy plays, and that was pretty much the end of that tier 2 tower defense. Given the worst condition Terrorblade is at the moment in, I think we're gonna see maybe even more on the tier 3 push, or Vici Gaming says, nah, we don't have enough steam for this.
Terrorblade, in the meantime, the actual hero did cut some creeps up top and got some farm there, and finds himself with completed drums, but yeah, all of the momentum seems to be in Vici Gaming's pockets. They're going to smoke up and try to get out of this funk. Honestly, this is probably the only way that they can get back into this game, and well, that's only with limited success. Terrorblade's going to be lagging behind as he waits for the rest of his team, but yeah, we do have a Blink Dagger up for the Bloodseeker. Honestly, I'm okay with it. Blink is an amazing item on any hero. If you have 2,000 gold just sitting around and his advantage over the enemy team is more than that, you might as well.
Still, on a Bloodseeker, I'll have probably a list of 1 billion items that would be better, but I guess for fancy purposes or something like that, you might as well just go for it. What are they doing? Don't tell me they go into Roshan. No, they just hide here or something.
Ooh, they're going to ping it out. They walk into the Roshan pit. Lucky enough for them, the entire team does not have any vision over inside that area of the map. But what they do have vision of is the entire side of where the tier 2 towers once remained, in mid and in top. So they know that something's fishy, and they're going to see a Spirit Breaker charge over towards... Where's that actually going?
They actually do this. Okay.
Huh. Alright.
Sneaky Roshan. I mean, to be honest, if I was Vici Gaming, I would also not ever in my lifetime expect Terrorblade going for Roshan, because so far they have been complete fanatics.
But then again,
well,
where would they be? If you have this vision up in the top lane, you know they're not sitting behind that tier 2 tower, you know they're not inside their base, and you would have spotted them out going into their woods. Roshan is really the only option. They ping it out, but it's too late. They already get the Aegis, and it's denied by the tiny... Okay, so that's BM.
Yep, and in the meantime, the Spirit Breaker just... Wait, what? He denied the Aegis?
Yep.
Okay. Alright. Alright. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't have words for that. I really don't. That was probably the best thing that's happened for the Terrorblade team in the longest time, and then they just throw that out the window. They're going to be pushed now. The Vici game potential don't have to deal with that second life, and even if they did, the chances would still be slim. They could just brute force this. They find the Centaur over the sidelines and focus onto the poor Tiny and the Tusk. Tusk is going to get his head chopped off, and the Centaur is going to die to pull down Rocket Barrage. That's going to be another handful of kills, and Vici game potential should be able to break high ground here.
A handful of kills? You get 2 heroes in your hand, Grandis?
Well, if you're the Axe, he has pretty big hands, I guess.
That's true. Oh, the Spirit Breaker coming in. Is there any vision? Oh, he's getting slowed down. Is there a gem or something? I think so. Somewhere. Oh,
no,
the Axe
just
actually
sentries on the
him.
ground. And they get the blink call, so that's probably going to be the end of Spirit Breaker's life, but there is a jump in with the Ice Shards. They might be able to drop somebody, but no, not enough damage. They are going to get a Sunder kill over onto the Bloodseeker. That is going to be pretty nice and all, but they lose their Tusk, and Terrorblade's currently standing alone. If he actually goes in, he's not going to be standing for much longer. Tiny
This was the first Sunder, by the way, that actually led to a kill, but with the buyback on the Bloodseeker and no buybacks on the other side, this is really bad, but the center is coming in, trying to do something. Axe, well, Blink Dagger is on cooldown, so they not really get anything. Just tossing some creeps, trying to reduce their HP. The funny part is, like, with all this fighting and clashes, they still did not get their axes down, so the Terrorblade has at least some farm he can get there. There is, however, a ward already inside the base for I don't know how long, pretty long actually, and well, this game is still not ending. I actually thought we had the final push right here, but yeah.
I think one of the biggest issues that Terrorblade have this game, even though their draft is very unorthodox and somewhat clowny, they still had chances if they found good initiations, and that's almost impossible if you don't have ward coverage. They haven't bought a single ward this game, and honestly, I think that's a pretty big mistake.
Oh, there has been a rocket cast on the Spirit Breaker. He's still invisible. The Axe can jump in and call him right there, and that is just too much. Can he charge out? He tries. No, he doesn't charge on another lane. He actually charges on the gyrocopter. Of course, that's too bad. Even if he would have charged on another lane, I think the Spirit Breaker, the Bloodseeker would have been ready here just to rupture him up when he goes through this.
His curse in mid. They catch out Yishu, but where's the follow-up for it? They get the silence, they get the void. Now looks like they'll be able to chase him down. There's a rupture on the backlines, catching out center. He's silenced up, and it looks like they'll be able to find themselves two pretty easy kills. Although the Wyvern is going to lose her life in return. The negative are in charge, and the chase from the Night Stalker is going to commence over onto the Tusk. And it looks like he's going to end up losing his life. Smacks Night Stalker once for good measure, but that is going to be all she wrote.
Well, it's a 3-for-1 trade. Not too bad. Like given the other fights. The base is still standing. That's what it all matters in Dota. Like tons of wards everywhere. They know exactly what's going on. The Terrorblade, well, he gets farm up now. So
yeah, finally he has something. If you compare his net worth to what it was 10 minutes ago, his farm rate's actually pretty amazing. He has Sanjin Yashu, Drums, Aquila. This is acceptable in all honesty. So I think he's going to be happy with his current position. Later on he can transition pretty nicely. It's still going to be a game that Terrorblade needs to wait out longer before he can really become relevant, but at least now he's not wet paper.
Okay. So my theory is, now listen guys, my theory is that it's all just a hoax. Suddenly at 30 minutes they start to play seriously, by wards, by everything, and then the Terrorblade is gonna get so much farm from like high level kills that Terrorblade is actually gonna turn it around. It's like the Sunder effect, it's the Sunder strategy. You make your enemy as strong as possible and then you change positions, right?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the mentality. Terrorblade are not only picking Terrorblade, they're becoming Terrorblade as a team.
Yes. It's a Terrorblade strategy.
Oh, this is going to be a terrible strategy for them. My goodness, that was awful. But there's going to be a call into the Tiny, but there's no follow-up. The Axe went in completely alone. Instead, they'll go for the melee Derricks.
Yep, the melee Rex at the moment, but the center wants to talk there with them. There's no BK.B on the gyrocopter, so there is the stun. Actually, no, it wasn't even a stun, but it's just gonna punch him in the face a tiny bit. Terrorblade trying to do something, but he has the rupture. Now he has the Winter's Curse. He is down. Surprise, surprise. Now the question is, are there more people dying? At the moment, there's Spirit Breaker just charging in, but he's doing that under like so many wards. The Axe is probably gonna jump on him. No, Blink Dagger has been interrupted, is still interrupted, so that's not gonna happen. They still work on the melee racks.
And the melee racks are soon going to fall, and also falling is the center. He's going to get the stun with an avalanche, not even going to be enough. They'll try to buy themselves as much space as possible, but Vici Gaming are overrunning their base. Really, there's nothing they can do to get them out.
Nope, not really. HP wise, they're totally decent, just because the urn is really doing most of the fun here.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh! That used to be a Spirit Breaker. It's no longer a Spirit Breaker. He's just a Bloodstain in the Radiant base. Now the next set of barracks is going to be pressured by Vici Gaming. Terrorblade, honestly, this game is damn near unwinnable. Let's see if they can actually pull anything through. There's going to be a toss in. That's going to be the Tiny, but he's blown to shreds. My goodness, he lasted only a matter of seconds. Now the rupture on the Tiny. That's going to be the end of his life. Oh, the Sunder save is going to buy him enough space to get back to base. Maybe that's why they picked the Terrorblade.
Oh, the Axe is jumping. The Axe. Yes, I knew it. I knew he's going to do it. I mean, he's going to pay with his life. But still, like, he against the Bloodseeker, you always have vision on the low HP targets. I knew he's gonna do it. That was pretty much my first pub thought. And now they want to get blood of the Gyrocopter, for example. But he's quite tanky, and he has a Satanic. If he pops that Satanic and starts attacking, look at his HP. Yes, go Terrorblade, hit with your Sangayasha. I don't think that's gonna actually work out. Also the Night Stalker in the mix, the Blood Rite on all those heroes, and we have the Bloodseeker in the whole mix. And now he's starting to actually go for some right clicks. But well, Terrorblade, they're coming back. They're coming back. This is the comeback of the century. The next Ice Shards should be there in just a second, blocking them out. There's also a charge of the Spirit Breaker. That's gonna be 4 kills. The comeback is real. 3-2-2. Let's go. Spam it, Kappa.
Jeez. Well, they do repel Vici Gaming from their base, but they don't protect the melee barracks and range barracks and mid. So they're currently down 2 full sets. And even if they were even on net worth right now, the game is still incredibly difficult for them. So.
No, you just don't understand. This is now the point where you sunder your enemy. You down 2 Rexes, like they think you're dead. You're at 25-30k disadvantage, and then you just sunder. You suddenly turn it all around, and they have no idea what's actually happening.
So, theoretical situation, if they actually were able to sunder the buildings of the enemy team and get a 2 barracks advantage, would that even be enough for them to win this game? Maybe,
not
with
so
Bloodseeker
sure,
going for Yules and Blink, but... we'll see. Down towards bottom lane, the Wyvern's going to be jumped, but with a little bit of help from Axe, it looks like this is instead going to be Spirit Breaker's demise. The Winter Wyvern's now in a nice little cubby inside the trees, but charged up. Looks like he's going to end up losing his life. No, the Cold Embrace will save her. And now Yang is just waiting, gets the Blink Call over onto the poor Spirit Breaker, head's going to be rolling on the floor. Winter Wyvern still living with the Winter's Curse, will hit him with the Blade Mail activated, ends up losing her life. Blink in, the Hoof Stomp over onto Yang, will the damage be there to follow it up? It looks like no, now that the Gyrocopter's joined the fray, there is potential for a turnaround, but the Sunder from Tai is going to be enough to kill off the Axe, finally bringing the Red Man down. Dogfights gets the Void to cancel the Tusk CP, and now Tai is without the Sunder and is going to lose his life proper. Tusk blinks up towards the north and is going to continue running away, but Bloodseeker is there. He guesses wrong, however. The Tusk is to the north, not to the south, and Yishu is just going to wait for another Blink cooldown.
Too bad, to be honest. That was big time outplayed by the Winter Wyvern. Like, it was really good what he actually did, because he waited with the Cold Embrace on himself till the Snowball comes out, because he knew after the Snowball there will be the Walrus Punch and just getting him in trouble. However, the Tusk at the moment just showing himself, pulling the Creep Wave aside, and I think the Night Stalker, yes, the Night Stalker, predicting that right. Okay, he's like, oh yeah, what you doing here? I'm just gonna punch you in the back. And that should be absolutely enough. Now they have unconstructed vision with the Bloodseeker, of course. Easy going, so Tusk eventually also going down. And the creeps, well, the creeps do what Vici Gaming actually fails to do, pushing the last barracks in.
You have a Blink Dagger up on this Gyrocopter as well. Everybody and their mother on Vici Gaming's side has Blink. I suppose not the Night Stalker and the Wyvern, but they don't count. Spirit Breaker is on a very deep mission, secures himself a bounty rune halfway across the world when his base is being pressured. And without TP, Spirit Breaker is going to be forced to charge into this fight, but he has vision on the Gyro. Nobody expects the Spirit Breaker to come from this angle, so maybe, just maybe, this can work out for them. Blink away by the Gyrocopter, but Spirit Breaker is still going to get pops the Shadow Blade, and is now going to run the hell away because he needs to. They drop the Stampede for it. Tusk Effigy is going to die as they blink in, get the call onto the poor Spirit Breakers, pulled back into the entire enemy team as they look for the Avalanche, going to catch out onto 2, but the damage isn't enough. The Spirit Breaker's going to be blown to shreds by the Gyrocopter. That's the end of his life. Now they chase for the Terrorblade. No Sunder for 15 seconds. Can they kill him in this duration? Rock Barrage damage is being amplified with the Winter's Curse. Not a chance taken by Vici Gaming potential, and they're going to be able to kill off Terrorblade. GG called out by the Spirit Breaker.
GG, the whole Sunder strategy just did not really work out. They forgot to click the map Sunder, whatever it is. So GG being called, guys. I know it was a very clowny game, but it was also the last game of the round robin. It was not a game that actually mattered. Terrorblade was definitely out, while VG was... I'm not so sure actually. I think VG was in a position where they still struggled for the 4th place. Tong Fu is definitely in. Victory or Lord is definitely in. And I think the potential tiebreaker... yeah, it's a freeway tiebreaker this way, I think. Because Energy Pacemaker is 4-3, Newbie is 4-3, Vici is 4-3 with the outcome of this game. I think that was the intention of Terrorblade. So yes, potentially we have a three-way tiebreaker. Fun, fun, fun. The schedule in theory said we should have now the first match of the playoffs, which is like the four best teams going against each other, but I'm not so sure. We just joined the next lobby and I try to somehow communicate with the Chinese admin, which is not very fruitful most of the time, and then inform you guys what's happening. Okay, till then, some music, some ads, and I keep you updated in the chat or here on camera. Be right back.